to interact with us. And I really appreciate the sharing, but this is one that you definitely need to share because this is my next stop on my Black entrepreneurship tour. I have a good friend of mine, Mr. Dwayne Joseph. What's going on?
All right.
From Maranatha
Ed.
Yes, Maranatha Ed. Now, I've known Dwayne for, it's been a while. I'd say about what? Almost 10 years. Yeah. I met Dwayne at Kaufman Scholars. A little bit about Dwayne's background. I'm going to just give a little snippet, but I want Dwayne to go more in detail. I do know that Dwayne's a math teacher. And I used to always, every time I had a math question, I would always go to him because I'm not math savvy. I'm an English guy. But dope math teacher. And after you left Kaufman Scholars, you decided to start your own concept. If I'm saying that right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Now, let's talk about that. Okay. Let's talk about what you started and why you started it.
Okay. So I started get up a little closer. I started an ACT prep and math tutoring company, which when I was at Kaufman, I realized that a lot of our students were struggling with the ACT. Mm-hmm. When I used to go into the classes and kind of see, what was going on, and you've been over there.
Oh yeah.
And noticed that some things wasn't happening like it should have been. So when I left Kaufman, I decided that, you know what, let me go ahead and start something of my own because I don't want to ever have to maybe even work for somebody else again, right? So because I experienced something that I really didn't like at the time and decided that, you know what, if I'm going to put a lot of time and energy into something, it's going to be something of my own. So I decided to start my own company. And being an educator, the thing that came to my mind was an educational company. So knowing that the ACT was very prevalent in this area and all through the Midwest, and also that kids also struggle with math, I decided to go ahead and start a company that had those two concepts and put those two concepts together. The first year, there was all math. We piloted the ACT prep program just to see how families and students would actually respond to it, and we had an overwhelming response, and plus the scores were really, really good. So when I did that, it kind of laid the groundwork for where I am right now. It's been September 3rd to be 6 years that I've been in business, and it's growing, man. It's growing. Yeah. We moved to Seattle, looking at Omaha right now. So we're trying to do the dang thing.
So you're in like 3 different state locations. Yes. Man. Because I remember when you first started, you were down at the Lincoln building, right?
Building 18th and Vine, yes.
Now, are you still down there now? Or?
I'm not. I'm over at 10th and Baltimore now.
Okay.
Yeah, right across from the downtown library.
Okay, now let's explain the name. How'd you come up with the name?
Maranatha.
I want to ask you that for 6 years.
All right. So Maranatha Ed is the name of my company.
Okay.
But the name Maranatha comes from my 20-year-old daughter, who is a junior right now at Savannah State University and a math education major. So when we named her, we asked a friend in Jacksonville, Florida, to name her for us. She came up with 2 names, and one of the names was Maranatha Joy and Sarah Joy. But Maranatha means Lord come quickly, and her middle name is Joy, so her name means bring your joy quickly, Lord. Oh. So with that name, I decided that, man, I love that. I'm gonna go ahead and name my company after her, with not thinking that she would one day want to actually take it over. And that's the conversation we had about 2 years ago when I told her I was trying to talk her out of education. I'm like, man, you're going to be poor, bro.
Oh, man.
I was trying to talk her out of it because she wanted to be a high school math teacher. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work. I said, man, you're going to be poor? You're going to be borrowing from your brother? And she was like, nah, Dad, I already got this figured out. I'm like, what? She was like, well, the business is going great. I know you're going to do wonderful with it. I'm gonna take it over. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of deep. So we had a conversation about it, and right at that moment, it gave me what I call an exit strategy, because I didn't know where I was going with this thing. But right at that moment, I realized that I was going to build this for her. And if she takes it or not, it's still fine, because you know how kids are. They change their minds, like they change everything else, man. So, but the concept of her wanting to be, in in the driver's seat and wants to take over this was exciting for me.
It's all about legacy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you were like setting up the stage for it to kind of pass on like that. So it's a blessing that you named it after your daughter, and the same daughter wants to like, hey,
wants to eventually take it over. Yeah. So it gave me an exit strategy, allows me to go ahead and probably look at the nonprofit side of it. You know, I have a nonprofit, Dwayne Anthony Joseph Foundation, which does the same thing, but work with inner city kids with ACT prep and math tutoring. And it's more focused on working with different organizations within the community that already have inner city kids. So we work with like 100 Black men of Greater Kansas City. We work with those young men and the mentors there, and gave them free ACT prep, that type of stuff there.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, like, I've always known you to be a champion for education, but what you're doing is taking it a step further. Yeah. You know, I mean, you're steadily progressing and pushing it back. Now, let me ask this question: with the with teaching the ACT, what components do you teach? I know some people feel, I see it on two different spectrums here from where I was. Okay. Teaching the test and then teaching the content of the test. Okay. So what do you,
well, basically, the thing about the test, and everybody knows this, the test is not going anywhere until colleges and universities find a better way to get kids into the university without discrimination. Understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So when you look at the ACT or the SAT, whatever it is, and we kind of know that it's kind of biased towards certain things, the deal is trying to get the kids to understand how to approach the test, having a good understanding of it, how to take the strategies. So I developed something called the SKP system, which is strategies, knowledge, and practice. So the strategies part of it we give to the kids, allows them to understand how to approach the test with different things they want that the test is showing them. The knowledge-based part is getting back. So say, for instance, if we're in English, you won't be able to do very well on the English part of the test if you don't have sentence structure, punctuation, and grammar, and don't know those rules. So we kind of give them those things along the way as we're teaching them the strategy part of it. And then you have the continued practice component to it. The practice component allows us to work with the kids. So say, for instance, we break the ACT test down. I want to break this test down from being a huge 3.5 to 4 hour test and individual wise to a 45-minute English part of the test, 35-minute reading and science, and then a 60-minute math. We break each one of those down. So in the English component, you have 75 questions, 45 minutes, and you have 5 sections of 15 questions. What I end up doing is finding out what score that the kid want to make, first of all. And then it's all numbers games to it from there. So what I end up looking at is how a student was going to approach this. If you're going to look at this test, at the English part of the test, as 75 questions, a lot of students are going to say, man, I can't do that. I can't score really well in that. But if you take a look and break it down to those 5 passages of 15 questions and go ahead and look at, you have 9 minutes in there, because 45 minutes divided by 5 sections give you 9 minutes per passage. Now I'm breaking the test down for you to a point where you're looking at 15 questions. And if you want to get a fairly good score, if you say you want to get 25 on the ACT, which is a fairly great score. I ask for kids to do a little bit better than that, but a 25 on the ACT English part of the test is not bad, right? So that means that you need to get at least 60 questions correct, close to that. So, and that'll pull you into, it all depends on how they score it. That'll pull you in about a 25, 26. So from there, I'm looking at a kid only missing 3 questions per passage. If I can get a kid to miss 3 questions per passage and focus on 12 out of 15 every single time, he only missed 15 questions in those 5 sections.
Wow. So you're teaching them an algorithm.
Yes. And breaking the test down. So now they look at the test as being, oh man, I can do this now. I just had a young lady that I was working with this morning, and when we started working together, I was breaking it down for her. And she was like, wow, I felt overwhelmed with looking at 75 questions, but now I know that I can break this test down to those different sections. And I want a 28, Mr. Jones. I'm like, okay, you want a 28, then this is the number that we need to get. So now let's take a look at you getting, let's say, 13 out of 15, and I want a perfect passage. Can you do that for me? Can you give me a perfect passage? And she's like, I think I can, right? And then we go from there, man. So building that confidence up, allowing them to see how to break the test down is one of the key components. And that's just the English part of the test. We do that for reading and science. And then I brought on a math person, Anna Anchi, to actually work with my kiddos in math, so she give them the undivided attention that they need in order to get the math scores. She's brought our math scores up from a 27.2 to a 29 in just a year.
That much in a year?
In a year, man. In a year. And you talking about kids, and I'm not lumping just the kids that scoring 30s and 29s to 34s and 35s. I'm talking about kids who are going from 16s to 22s. Whoa. Understand what I'm saying? We're talking about kids working in those capacities and getting the score that they want from there. So we're looking at average jump wise. You're looking from a 3 to a 7-point jump in some cases. I had a young lady who had an 18 on the ACT, took the ACT, worked with me in January of last year, took the February test and killed it and scored a 27 to a point where ACT thought she cheated. I had a young man who did the same thing, went from an 18 to a 29, 11-point jump, thought he cheated. Look again and look up again. They wanted him to take the test, and they put a proctor in there, and they was going to bring their own proctor for him to take it. And we kind of fought against it, wrote letters and all that stuff there. But he was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and take it. Went from a 29 to a 33.
Right there in front of them.
Yeah, in front of them. So showing them how to take the test and giving them the strategies behind it, along with the knowledge-based stuff to it, also works.
Yeah, see, your methods are working, and I'm thinking everything that you were saying about this test, I just imagine if I had someone or a program like yours back when I was in high school, what my ACT score would look like. You know, it's like you're giving these kids a fair, well, I shouldn't say fair, a more level playing field. A more level playing field.
We're looking for that. Yeah. We're looking for the more level playing field. I just had a phone call from a young man out in St. Joe just a while ago. His son is playing, Spring Hill, Missouri. So it's right outside. I think it's right outside of St. Joe. He called me. His son is being looked at by Harvard and for baseball. And he didn't know how he was going to get into Harvard because he got a 25. But when he spoke to the coach and all that and the counselor at the school, the counselor was like, well, I tell you what, they kind of do a sliding scale for athletes. So he don't need. You look at that face, right? Yeah. He don't really need the 32, but he does need at least a 28 to a 30. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And he's like, okay, how? And so I broke down a method of how I do it. And from that point, man, we're gonna probably look at him going on the September test and putting him in there. So we're gonna look at jumping from a 25 to close to that 30 mark, so we can get him in there.
Man, yeah. Cause I remember I was looking on Facebook one time. And I was looking at your success rate. I was like amazed with what I saw.
Yeah. So just last week, man, we got our scores back. We averaged a 29. I'm kind of a little upset about that. I'm hoping that I always want to hit the 30 mark. I take the test also. My staff take the test. We go in and our goal is to score 30 or above. Okay. So scoring a 30 or above, it allows me to have the proof and concept. Me to be, a kid goes, well, how you can help me? Our parent goes, how you can help my kid? Well, I take the test also. Well, what's your score? Well, I scored 33 on the last test. And every area we want to score 30 in. Oh, okay. So now I got a kid who wants to jump from a 30 something over into the 29 or 28 and jump into the 30s. They first got to trust you on this.
Yeah, right?
They got to actually see that. So one of the things that my motto has always been, they don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. So showing a kid, going and meeting with the kid, finding out where he's at or where she's at, and kind of getting that understanding of the idea of, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about for one thing, but understanding that I not only care about their well-being for the ACT, but about them also. And we like to have fun. You know how I am, man. I have fun with my part of the ACT prep part. It's not going to be something boring. It's not going to be something that's it got to be engaging. Plus, we're going to have a little fun with it. A lot of times we're meeting with kids after school. They've had a long day. why are you going to come and do an ACT prep program where it's boring and the guy is not engaging with you?
So and monotone.
Yeah. So
kind of like some people we used to work with. Yeah.
I ain't saying that.
I said that. Now, for those people that are listening and watching, tell them the lowest score you can get on the ACT and the highest score.
Lowest score you can get on there is a 1. I'm guessing, right?
At least get your name right.
At least the name right? Yeah. But a 36 is the high.
36.
The national average is a 21. Our state average of Missouri right now, I think, is a 21.6 or something like that.
So Missouri's doing higher than
about that. And then the Kansas is all about the same. I think it was 21.9 at one point. So I'm looking at about a 22. If you average it up, because I average up just like the ACT. If my average is a 28.5, I'm gonna go with a 29 because that's how the ACT rounds up also. So so that's the high score. To get good scholarships, you're looking at that 25 to 30 range. You're looking for full rides. You're looking for that 32 range. You're looking at 32s. And,
because that ACT test is like, and as well as the SAT as well. Yeah. It's like the that's your marketability. Yeah. Because I mean, people aren't going to invest in something that they don't feel marketable.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, and if you want to save some money and invest your money, invest it right now, unless you want to pay the money at the end.
Yeah, no, that's right.
I mean, you can, and I got a lady last week calling about it. I mean, she had references, like 6 parents gave her references about working with me because their kids have worked with me and gotten really good scores. And then she called me and I sent her the information. My director of student services sent the information, and she was like, "That's a little expensive." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. Can you send me more? Can you send me more references?" And I'm like, "How many more references do you need?"
She wanted reference from you. She wanted to make sure she was getting what she paid for.
And I'm like, "That's fine, but." The proof is in the pudding. We do our best with all of our students, and I don't guarantee anything, because if I guarantee, I'm gonna probably put you in an ironclad contract. But what I can guarantee is that we're gonna do 100% on my end to make sure that kid get the score. And I've never had a kid not get what they wanted, or if they didn't get what they wanted, they came back and we worked toward it again. So just having the idea of putting in work, you got to put in that work, and I'm going to put in the work because their scores is my scores. Yeah. So my marketability is from them. So I have to go and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. I give them we don't have a ton of homework that I send them home with, but what I send them home with, I'm expecting them to make it happen.
Now let's talk about your reach. Because I know you said Missouri, and you service Kansas too.
Kansas, yep.
And where
Kansas? Look, Missouri, Kansas. We're looking at Omaha right now. We're heading that way for the fall of the year. Then we have Seattle. And so Seattle is more SAT based because we're coastal zone, and we're looking at more SAT over there.
Okay. Now, so you're gonna have satellite offices in all these places.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Dang. That's amazing. I mean, think about that. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm glad that I brought you in because we had a variety of different businesses.
Okay.
We had photographers, event planners, caterers, therapists. Now we got someone that's starting their own business in education.
Yeah.
So remember earlier you were saying that about swaying your daughter from the educational field. But we got a brother right here who's an entrepreneur in the educational field. Yeah. And one thing that I have a problem with is that we have people that come into the educational field and they experiment on our kids and they profit on our kids and they burn out. You're coming in and you're experimenting with our children and you're growing with our children and their families. Yeah. This is a beautiful concept. And I want to say, Kevin Manning, thanks for sharing this video because more people got to see this. Matter of fact, I was at a social event and I was talking about my upcoming show. Okay. The young lady said, "What? You got what's going on?" I said, "Well, I got a brother on there talking about ACT prep." "Oh, I'm going to have my brother watch this show. Yeah. Someone else, I'm going to have my child watch this show because this is something that we definitely need in our community. Yeah, I know it's definitely beneficial in all communities, but definitely in our community too. We got some feedback. Yes. Okay. Mr. George Walker, we're going to read some feedback.
Got a shout out from a Katina Taylor.
Okay.
Hey, Katina.
So, And we also have, let's see, who else was on there? Lisa Sagasser says, Mr. G, your 80s girl misses you.
You know?
Yeah.
And also Katina says, while families with resources can afford an outlay for services like this, what about the most marginalized families who can't afford it?
Okay.
That's good. That's a good
question.
I like that. So that's the reason why we created the Joseph Foundation.
Okay.
Was because students in the inner city can't afford our prices most of the time. So what I've done is 10% of most of everything that I get, all my contracts, that money goes to the Joseph Foundation. So when I do get a family that calls and say, I need your help. I had a young lady call this week. Her family can't afford it. So what we do is we meet with that student, meet with the family. And my question is, how much can you afford? They tell me how much they can afford, and that's what they pay. So the Joseph Foundation comes in and kick off the rest of that.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So like, and it's very rare that you hear a company has another company that helps you pay for the services of their company, keep it on the family. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's all right, man. You know. Now my baby's 2. I wanna make sure when Paul starts doing his thing, I want him to come and get some ACT prep. I know you're gonna be around.
We're gonna be around for a while, man. We actually doing online in the fall. We push out online. So we just expanding our reach to people who are not in the Kansas City area. We're going to, we already signed up kids already from New York, but most of our Seattle kids that want to work directly with me, going to work with me. A couple of people out of Louisiana and in Florida are already signing up to work for next year. We almost already booked for the whole year of 2018, 2019. I'm
going to tell you right now, I got some people watching me in California. They watch this show every Tuesday. Shout out to Miss Lynette for getting that hooked up. But they watch like every Tuesday. So don't be surprised if they hit you up too.
Give a call and we'll work it out. We try to put make everything to a point where if it's going to be on a different time zone, we kind of work with those and how we set up the appointments with those guys.
And that's man. See, that's what I'm talking about. You know, we got these hidden gems when it comes to Black entrepreneurship in our city that we need to support. And like right now, just I got another notification. Someone else shared the video too. Okay. So thanks, John Lewis, for that too. But so we need to keep this circulating. Keep this going. I know you shared it on your page.
Yeah, well, I haven't shared it yet.
But you will.
I will.
I will. Yeah. So please keep sharing this because what we're talking about right now is something beneficial. Because I'm gonna be real with you. When I went to undergrad in the at Missouri Western, Wilkes State College back then, they came in and they were, pressing hard in inner city schools in St. Louis and Kansas City. So we're in the dorms. I'm seeing Black folks all throughout the dorms. You're my Black roommate. We hang out with this Black guy here. You date this Black woman here. We go to this Black party here. We pledge this Black fraternity here, right? But as soon as you went onto the campus, you the only Black person in that classroom, and there's no Black professors, but it's like predominantly white. And then we start falling off. See, when you have people who look like you that are educationally grounded, that are stirring the pot of putting more education in there, your longevity is more profitable for yourself and for people that look like you and care about you. And I think that's what you're doing, man. I mean, you got someone who's aspiring to go to college, and there's people that don't look like them that's going to college. They're like, well, this brother came from where I came from, and he's inspiring me to go. So
and like I said, they don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. So making sure that you have that component, and even my staff they gotta have that. You gotta have that. If you don't have that, then we can't roll together. So making sure that they care about our kids that we're working with, and we only have them for sometimes 6 weeks to 7 weeks because we do it before every ACT test. And to have them in that short period of time, we gotta make sure we make that connection quick.
Now, what does a day look like? Now let's pretend we have a student sitting right here. Let's use a reality stone and show people what it looks like for a typical day as soon as that kid walks in.
All right. So as he walk in, so 9 times out of 10, the way we used to do it is we'll meet at the kid's home, library, coffee shop, wherever you want to meet. 9 times out of 10, those places are a little bit noisy, so it's normally going to be at home or at the library. Kid comes in, we get right to work. The first thing that I do, I want to give my trade secret away, but I give them this particular test, and I work on this test. It's not a really a particular test. It's the way I give it.
Right.
Other test prep companies give it this way, this particular way. I chose not to because I want to know exactly what the kid knows, and I cannot find out what the kid knows if I'm going to do this thing, right? So, and I'm talking in code because I don't want to give my trades.
Gotcha. So you do an assessment piece.
Yeah. So once we do that, the kid, I find out exactly what the kid knows, don't know, and then I go ahead and kind of take some notes down because every kid is going to be individually done. We're going to make this an individual thing. It's not we have a roadmap. We have our SKP model, but we approach it differently with every single kid. And I think that's the most important part of getting a kid to understand that this is just for me. He created this piece here just for me. He knows what I understand on this thing. He knows what I don't understand. Right. So now I get in there, have them understand how to go about how our system is going to be used. And then we go from there. So if a kid walks in, we do this assessment, and then from that point on, we do that probably the first day or so. The next time we meet, we jump into the strategies, and then we begin to look at the knowledge-based stuff. At that moment, I already know if they're doing it. If we start off with English, I already know if they're struggling in sentence structure, punctuation, and grammar because of what I've seen on the assessment that I've looked at. Okay. Yeah. And from that point, I can kind of go into my strategy point is I'm now going to focus on some areas that I know for a fact that they struggle with, and then go from there. And we do that with the English, the reading, and the science part. And then my partner, Anchi, does something totally different when it comes to math. She pounds it in us. Right. And math is more I say more structured to a point where you have to know the formulas and the rules for certain things, and that's what she pushed on those students by taking several tests and real ACT tests. Yeah, and we also creating we're in the fall of the year. We should have this book out. We wrote our own ACT prep manual.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it our manual is this live, living, breathing thing because we're still teaching it. So we're trying to make it to a point where when we do push out our book, there's going to be some components to it where a kid that's in Connecticut wants to take the ACT, they can purchase our book and get us as the instructor with the book. That's how we're working it out.
Man, that's
making it happen, man.
Man, that's And with that, we're gonna take a brief break.
All right, man.
And let that soak in. And we're gonna talk more about that. Okay. You know I like books. Yeah.
That'll work.
So we're gonna take a quick break. Source of Inkwell, Dwayne Joseph, Maranatha Ed. I said that right?
You said it right.
All right, making sure. All right. Big brother over here. I'll make sure I say it right. We'll see y'all back in 3. Cool. Yeah. We got people watching on YouTube right now too.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Dang, I'm just learning so much stuff about what you're doing, man. This is some good stuff.
Yeah, man. It's pretty cool. We created the book last year because we was partnering with McGraw-Hill, and they weren't listening to me like I wanted. And they're a big company and all that, and they wasn't listening. So I decided, you know what? They don't want to listen. Create my own.
doing your own thing.
Do my own thing, man. So Anchi and I are creating our own stuff, man. She created her own math questions that looks just, oh man, she's bad. Yeah.
Man, where are you finding these people, man? It's tight. Trying to see how many views we have on here. Okay, well, I can't tell right now because we're live. But yeah, I'm sure.
There was a question too about they wanted to know her talk about a mobile lab for the When will that be? When that be up and running?
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
All right. Definitely. Yeah.
The questions that was up.
They probably went on our website and saw that. Yeah. And that's piece there, man. Oh man, I think that's gonna kind of revolutionize some things within the city itself when it comes to that. I can't wait till that happens.
Okay, you be ready in 15 seconds.
Okay.
10 seconds. All right, cool. Get myself out of bed for this one. It's a good show. Tell us a good concept about risking my health.
You not feeling well?
Nah, kid gave me his coat.
Oh, okay.
And we are back. Source of the Inkwell, live on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's global community radio station. You can listen to this following broadcast on KUAW.org. TuneIn radio app on your phone. Just type in KUAW and we'll pop right up. Or now on YouTube, type in KUAW and we're there. And also on Facebook Live, KUAW/LPFM 98.5. You can also contact us on a few ways as well. You can go on our email at KUAW985@gmail.com, Facebook at KUAW/LPFM 98.5, or call us at 816-599-6893. Now, of course,
there's no reason not to get in touch, right?
Exactly, no reason. Especially with a broadcast like this. I do want to appreciate the shares from friends of the station, John Lewis and Kevin Manning. This is Dwayne Joseph from Maranatha.ed.
Maranatha.ed. Just Maranatha.ed.
Maranatha.ed. Maranatha.ed. Look at this, say right.
My daughter be like, why are you saying Maranatha? Maranatha. Yeah.
Maranatha.ed. Now, this is an ACT prep business owned by a friend of mine, an African-American male, and by, for my stop on Black-owned business. This is very special because, in my opinion, I feel that the playing field needs to be leveled when it comes to college access. Mm-hmm. And college access for a while has not been. Yeah. And what this brother is doing is he is fighting and pushing that line back to give all kids, a level playing field to get their college access. And we left off on a book that you said you were making.
Yeah.
Now, let's touch on that. And also I want to touch on that comment that was made too.
All right. So last year we decided to go ahead and create our own ACT prep book. Mm-hmm. Anna Anchi and I decided to do that. And she written the math component of it, and I've written the English reading and the science components. And what we're doing is we're giving the students in the book what we do with our students every day. And so we're working with them on how to use that book. Our book is pretty much going to be a living, breathing, just this document that keeps going. And I made mention earlier that we're putting in a component where a student, if they purchase our book, will have the access to get us as the ACT prep teacher and teach the concepts that's actually in that book. So many books that you get out there now, no ACT book except the real ACT book made by ACT is going to have real ACT questions in it. So everything else out there, from the Kaplans to the Princeton Reviews to the Barrons to all of the McGraw-Hills, all of those books are going to be just my book is going to be just like this. It's all simulated stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're doing is actually referring our students over to the real ACT book once they're working in our practice components and processes and practice problems. We also want them to look at the real ACT book, because those are real ACT tests. So just one thing I would share with every parent out there: if you're going to do ACT prep for your student, one of the book that I would suggest that you get is the official ACT prep book by Wiley, and it's by the ACT prep company themselves, because those are retired tests.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. I mean, why not study a retired test? I mean, it's like, I'm not going to sit up here and study Kung Fu if I got to ride a bicycle and a triathlon. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, when is your book going to be available?
We're hoping that we're looking for agents now. And we didn't realize we was gonna need an agent until a couple months ago. We were like, "Dang, we need an agent."
Yeah, I wish I would have known. I could edit. I mean, I'm an editor. And
like, we done wrote this thing. We gonna push this out. Yeah. So like, hey, you need an agent. Like, oh, do we now? So that's what we're in the process. We took a look at that. We already talked to C about it. So I made mention to C. That when we started last year, I think when I was on her show, I made mention of something like that.
Too. Yeah, that's a good podcast.
Hey, good podcast.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
So
like that, I got good friends that got good concepts.
Yeah. Cool. So the book, like I said, we're trying to make that book available in the fall of the year and go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
But the question that was asked was about the mobile lab that you probably saw that on our website, on the Joseph Foundation website. And one of the things that we're going to do is create this mobile lab that has computers in it, right? It's a bus that has computers, 20 computers, a presentation screen, a big screen TV to do presentations. And the way we want to use this bus is twofold. We want to use it to a point where we can take a look at schools that's low performing in our inner cities and use it as an after school program to go drive up to the schools. There's an after school program that's already there. I think it's linked at some of the schools that we can utilize some of those students that's in there and work with them on getting their math scores up. So what we want to do is we want to bring those young people on our bus and work with them in an hour setting each, and we have a rotation because it can fit 20 kids on board. We have a program that I use when I'm doing math tutoring that allows me to find the gaps in the kids' math capacity. And what it does is allows those students to work in the math component and raise their knowledge, fill those gaps, and now they're able to do the math concepts on a higher level, actually bringing them to grade level. That's the first component of it. The second component is utilizing it as a community resource and going to our neighborhoods and helping with resume writing and just certain things, job searching, doing those things that you probably can do at the library, but if may not have a car, and if we come into your neighborhood, you can actually park it there, get on board, and do those things.
Bring it right to
them. And then also to our, maybe elderly homes, bringing on people who can actually instruct and show our elders how to utilize the computer and the Facebook and all that, those things that they can keep in touch with maybe their grandkids, and just providing different programs that would allow them to have access along, electronic access to their families and all that good stuff there. Yeah.
Man, you were doing it, man.
Yeah. So that's a vision of ours. We did the concept. Thank you, Hurston Fails.
Yes.
He put the concept out. I had an idea of what I wanted. He put the bus together, put the information inside of the bus, and you can go on our website and kind of see it. It's the Joseph Foundation. It's josephfdn.org.
So it's a bus. So it's in the process of being made now.
Well, it's not a process. We're gonna gotta get some funds for that, man. Money on that, right?
Yeah.
But that's in the near future. We're looking for it. And and one of the things I have to kind of focus on it a little bit more because Maranatha has taken off, and I'm kind of more focused on getting those things together, but also splitting my time within the Joseph Foundation and getting that taken care of. So that's the number one priority when it comes to the Joseph Foundation itself. Starting this year, we're gonna do a scholarship drive. We're gonna offer 2 scholarships and maybe even more. It all depends on what's going on. Last time we offered 2 $1,500 scholarships within the KCPS area schools. So this year we probably we cut it out for a year or two, and now we're going to bring it back this year. We're going to probably offer about 5 and looking at $1,000 scholarships and be to offer a little bit more. Now, mind you, it may not be a lot, but it get you some books. Yeah. You can put down on your balance on there. Yeah. So we're definitely looking at doing that. So that's what the Joseph Foundation is one of the things that we're doing. The other thing that we're doing that we talked about as we came up here is I'm a teacher at heart. I'm an educator. Tyrone, educator. We have education friends, friends that's in education. And I noticed that during the year, we kind of, and then at the beginning of the year, we kind of, we use our own money, man, in our classroom. We use our own money in the classroom. And my vision was to always have a point where I can give back to teachers. So I decided to do a book bag drive for teachers. And what that book bag drive is going to entails is supplies for teachers. And I'm working on gift cards and all that other good stuff to put in their bags and giving out to the teachers. We have tons of people giving bags away to the kids. We have different nonprofits and churches, and that's needed. Don't get me wrong, that's definitely needed. But we kind of forget the teachers in the process that they use their own money, and then they still don't get paid that much.
Yeah, a lot of teachers are spending their own money, especially new teachers.
Yeah, so with that, we identified 3 schools in the KCPS district, elementary schools that we're going to do that with, and I went out and I'm spending my own money, man.
So if someone wants to donate, how do they get in contact?
Just donate. You can come to our website, go to our website and get our address. You can always drop them off at 111 West 10th Street. That's where we are. We're in the what is it? I can't even think of the name of our building right now, but we're there. Or you can give me a phone call, 816-863-4799, 816-366-PREP. Or even my personal cell phone. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And tell them the website again.
Our website is Maranatha Ed, MARANATHAED.com.
Well, I'm gonna come at you personally.
Okay.
Source of Inkwell will donate.
All right.
Yeah, the Source of Inkwell and the Gathers Group will donate a box of supplies.
I like it
for this.
I like it.
So I will drop it off down to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I got a box for you. So I'm not doing Hollywood. Like I said, I support every Black business that walk up in here. And I know my kid's too young to do the ACT. But I'll get you later on. When
yes, sir. But
I can't
be like, yo, them don't need that donation I gave you, right?
It's all good. We'll pay. But we definitely gonna get you a box of supplies.
Yeah, thank
you. Tell
me,
them the deadline.
The deadline, we want to have everything in by August 1st. We're gonna pack all the bags August 4th. That's Saturday. So check this out. If you want to come in and hang out with us, I'm buying a pizza. We got the beer. We got the wine. Ladies, y'all want to come hang out with us too? Come on, bring that in.
Yeah.
And then on that Monday is the first day that the teachers report back to school, and we want to go in and drop those bags off on the 6th.
Okay, so I can need paper, folders.
Yeah, so folders. Glue. So we're looking at papers, folders, glue, staplers, dry erase markers, those things that we know that teachers utilize in their classroom.
I got a box for you, man. I might do a couple donations. But I want to throw in some suggestions, some stuff from someone that's watching on YouTube. They said contact all retired teachers to come in and help put it in. Help you out. They were saying earlier, sounds like each student has a personalized plan that is tailored for them that meets their educational criteria. The SAT book or ACT book will be the core foundation for a student to have the best transition to achieve a healthy learn experience in college. Oh, yeah, cool. Thanks. And keep watching on the YouTube channel too. So definitely some dope suggestions. But I want to get you some supplies because I knew what it was like being a first year teacher. I knew it was like being a first year teacher. Yeah. And it's rough. Yeah. You walking in and you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I take care of this Superman problem with Spider-Man powers? And now we're actually equipping them with that utility bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
So I mean, just the idea of somebody, knowing that somebody's thinking about you, and saying, we're gonna root you on. Another thing that what they, adopting those 3 schools that we're looking at and saying, hey, we got your back on this.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not a lot, but it's something to let them know that we appreciate them. And if your stapler break or walk off, because that happens, then you can go and you have a stapler in that bag and you can go ahead and use. So just having that mindset, man. I just really believe that when I'm excited about it. I was out shopping the other day, grabbing backpacks, grabbing little sayings, those little plaques that you find at different stores that has, you're my favorite teacher type stuff. Bought a ton of those, bought a ton of mugs just to place inside of the backpacks, and just letting all the teachers know that we appreciate them. And this year we're looking at giving 100 bags away. Next year we're gonna up it even more, and we're gonna, I'm looking for different sponsors, looking for different organizations that want to go in and on the gift cards that we're looking at, and just letting the teachers know that we care for them.
I'm glad you're still talking about that, because as you were talking, I got another notification. It said, little as much, I would donate also.
Okay. Hey.
There it is.
Hey, I see you. Hey, donate. I like that. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I mean, already. So it's a good thing that you came in, because this is a great concept. I know I shared it on my page.
Okay.
And I'm like, we got to help out the ones that's helping out our kids.
Yeah.
Because Malcolm made a good point. He said, you are welcome. Will you let your enemy teach your kids? And on the flip side, we have an ally that's preparing our teachers, preparing those who want to teach our kids.
Yeah.
We're giving them those survival kits, those utility belts to go in there and save the day for our children.
Just go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I used to get things from, my parents used to just drop off stuff. One of the things that I prided myself on was having a relationship not only with my students, but with my parents, and allowing my parents to even in high school come in and work in my classroom as a high school math teacher. Just come in and come on. I don't care. You want to sit down and see how I teach? Come on in. My door is always wide open, which allowed me to be a successful teacher, allowed me to be a memorable teacher, because I wasn't hiding from the parents like, no, you can't come in here, but allowing them to come in and have access to my classroom. Right. And it's always great to have a parent or someone just drop something off to me and be like, hey, I appreciate you for what you do with my kid. Okay, appreciate that. So starting your year off with someone knowing, and there's different organizations that's gonna help out with giving bags like yourself. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a list together and letting all of those all the teachers know who donated, and not donated what, but who was part of this donation process.
Well, like I said,
this is a community. It's a community thing. It's not just the Dwayne Joseph Foundation of Maranatha Air doing this. I want them to know that it was a community effort to put this together. Yeah,
well, you got one donation coming from the source of the Inkwell.
Yes.
You got another one coming from the Gathers Group.
Awesome.
And like I said, you got our guest tip was watching on the YouTube channel. So you got 3 already from this broadcast.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's very admirable for you to pay out of your own pocket. At the same time, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So I want to do as much as I can to where you don't have to do as much as, because you do a lot. So I want to help out as much as I can.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
It's all good. And matter of fact, hopefully around the time you're putting the bands together, we'll have our mobile live access. I want to do a live broadcast.
Hey, man, make it happen, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Come on in there.
Yeah.
We're going to have some fun that day. On the 4th, baby. Come on down. I'm excited about that part. I'm excited about that part, man.
Just always
hanging out, getting things together. And that community. I know my friends. I got, y'all, I know y'all going to watch this. My friends, all 12 of y'all, my boys.
Yeah.
My boys.
The hitters.
Oh, yeah, my hitters. My hitters,
Yeah.
So, they're going to all be there.
Yeah,
they're going to
bring
be
your hitters,
there.
I'll bring my bangers.
There you go. What up?
Yeah. So we're going to do this, man. We're going to do this. Now, if someone, I know one thing we did not touch on.
Okay.
Cost for someone who wants to get their child.
No.
Services. Is it okay to talk about that now?
Yeah, you can talk about it, man.
Or would you want them to go on? Okay, so
you can go on the website. The price is gonna be there. I ain't gonna hide them.
Okay. I know some people.
So we have different levels of
Okay.
what we're working with. So we have a self-paced program.
Mm-hmm.
Self-paced allows a kid to work with me once a week for an hour, but also I give them the instructions, and we utilize that the ACT prep book that I was telling you about. We utilize that book, and I tell them, show them. First of all, give them the strategies, knowledge, and the practice components of it, and then allow them to go ahead and work in that book week for week. So, and that's the lower end of it. So I think it's $649, and then we have $649.
Okay.
And then we have the group sessions where if you have 2 or more kids, we come in. I think, and that one's is $1049 and a kid.
Okay.
We utilize the group sessions, and then our individualized program is $1249. We work, and we're, like I said, we're for what we offer. And that's 18 hours, mind you. That's 18 hours when it comes to the ACT component of individualized and for the combined class too.
Now, I know when you was talking to prices, I know some parents probably like, you got to put what better investment than in your child. You know, I mean, seriously. A young lady just walked in. I taught her son. I'm sure. I mean, she'd be the first one to tell you, I'm gonna invest in my kids.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Facebook posts.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been checking her out. She's been, totally investing in the kids. If my kid was ACT prep age, boom, sit down with me and mom. We're gonna talk about this because we need to get ourselves prepared for this. Yeah. So before we transition to our next broadcast, I would like you to give your contact info again and your address, and also talk about the event that's coming up. Remind them of that again.
Yeah. So the name is Maranatha. Formal name is Maranatha Educational Services. We're shortening it to Maranatha Ed. It's MARANATHAED.com. You can check us out at the Joseph Foundation. That's Joseph, JOSEPHFDN.org. We also are we're having a backpack drive for teachers, and that is going to be due on the 1st. Everything is due on the 1st, and we're looking at working with putting everything together on the 4th so we can give out the bags on the 6th of August. So the 1st of August is due. 4th of August, we're putting it together. The 6th of August, we're handing them all out. My phone number is 816-366 PREP. That's 7737 or 816-863-4799. That's our own number, but we still keep it in place.
All right. Yeah, please donate.
Yes. Donate.
Yeah, Brother Joseph.
All right.
Thank you for
got it, right?
Broadcast.
No problem.
And I definitely want to see you again soon.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Yes, most definitely, because this is an educational show, strong educational component. You are watching Dwayne Joseph and his organization, Maranatha Ed. Is that right?
That's right.
All right.
That's right. You got it, man.
The sources of Inkwell. On the sources, I'm messing up the name of my show. On the sources of Inkwell, on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom on Kansas Global Radio Station. Keep in mind, peeps, education is just like ink and it flows. Go ahead and let it overflow. Because when it overflows, it's permanent. Let it be permanent. Let it spread permanent. Let it have a far reach. I'm Tyrone Gathers Jr., Sources of Inkwell. We'll catch you again next week with another minority business. Black owned. Later.
All right, man. All right.
I want to show you the home downstairs too.
I have a question for you. Hey, I have a son. He's got a 28, and we're trying to get him up to a 30.
Okay.
It's easy.
Yes.
Also, can I have your card? Because he's a senior this year.
I'm Warren.
Yep, I'm Warren.
My man.
Frederick Douglass. Where is he looking to go to school?
He wanted to do Stanford,
Okay.
but as far as football or whatever, my daughter's trying to convince him. He wants to go to SEC school.
Okay.
She's trying to convince him to do it's a certain HBCU where she said he'll get looked at.
To get the logo back right.
I forgot what the name of the school is.
Okay. What school is he going to?
He goes to University Academy.
The logo didn't come out good. So what
28. That's a good score. How many times did he take it? He's taken it twice. The second time he didn't prep right. Went in tired, hungry. He stayed all night on game. So his score dropped down, but
okay, that'll work.
he got a 31 on his English, a 28. He got a 227s on history and math. I mean, on science and math. He got a 31 on his English, and I don't know what the other one was. Yeah, the reading was a 28.